I thought it was really smooth. I don't know if you guys still using Discord, but the system was amazing. The way all the kind of meeting rooms and everything was set up. You converted me. I use Discord for all my personal conversations and everything now as well. I thought it worked really smoothly with the assessment and stuff. Everything was outlined in really easy to see places, and kind of the conversations we were having with people on a day-to-day basis, whether it was in class or breaking out into your own little groups when you needed to. All the technology was there to assist with that, and it actually went quite smoothly. And I also actually enjoyed going into the Melbourne campus every now and then to get help with things from the support. Irina was there at the time, and she was amazing help as well. But yeah, no, I had no issues with the online side of things.
Perfect. Sounds good. Did you happen to catch up with anyone face to face at all, like peers, or did it evolve into, friendships that are still lasting or anything like that?
Absolutely, yeah. I actually still catch up with some of the guys I met in the campus. Ricky's one of the students that I worked closely with on some of the group projects, and we still catch up every few weeks. Yeah, so no, there's definitely an opportunity to go in and meet people if you want to. I guess I was pretty lucky to land in a startup. I didn't know that I would have fit into the startup culture. I didn't know that when I got offered the job, but since joining Swiftfox, honestly, I just fit it so much. And I think part of that is because there's this opportunity to really you get thrown in the deep end, you get your hands dirty, you get to work with a lot of stuff, and you really got to just learn and be willing to kind of learn and take on new stuff. And I think, I guess the part that, because I really personally enjoy learning, I love learning about new technologies, new frameworks. I'm constantly listening to podcasts and reading about this stuff anyway. To be able to come in every day and get to do that as a part of my job as well is the most amazing part. Like, I've worked in hospitality and stuff, and kind of like, once you learn how to make a coffee, once you learn how to make a good coffee, you know how to make a coffee. Now you just got to do that every day. In tech, you'll learn something and you'll get good at it, but then next week you're gonna have to learn this other thing, and next week you're gonna have to learn that, and it just keeps, tech evolves constantly. So you're constantly having to learn new skills, and I love that, and I enjoy that.
If you've done enough time in hospitality and you've done enough time in those kinds of roles where you don't really feel like you're building things, or you feel like you're I don't know, maybe other people are really good at hospitality and they love it, and I was getting good at hospitality, but I didn't love it. It was quite hard. But with code, you're always building stuff. It's much more cerebral, and that's what I like, is that you're actually working a different muscle. You're working your brain muscle a lot more than you are walking around all day, and that's quite rewarding. I would say that as a musician and as continuing to be a musician, having a job in which I don't have to be talking all day, or having a job in which I can essentially work from anywhere is a pretty big one. Being able to go, I mean, my work is quite forgiving or accommodating in that sense. In that, I'm lucky that I can go, hey guys, I've got an audition or whatever, so I'm gonna do my work maybe an hour later or 2 hours later, and so I'm lucky in that sense. That and I can't imagine being able to do that in a restaurant. No, just kind of, this is a busy time. I'm gonna just do it later, right? Yeah. No, but I just like building stuff. I like building stuff, and front end development in particular, I really enjoy. And maybe it's just Angular, and maybe it's just the weirdness of Angular that I really enjoy. I don't know, was it like a week or something? Well, I mean, I got placed. Not because I'm good or anything. No, but I got placed at CanStar, but instead of an internship, I was really lucky to go into a 6-month role. straight off the bat.
Oh.
So I was lucky in that sense. But then yes, that was extended for I was there for a year and a half in the end.
Well, that's pretty great. Geez, you're pretty self-deprecating. I'd say you're probably quite good at your job, eh?
Does it feel like
Anyway,
it sometimes?
okay. How about you, Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, a bit of context first. I finished at the end of last year, and I don't know if anyone knows, but the hiring market was not amazing around that time. So there wasn't a lot going. In fact, most jobs I applied for was kind of like just get back to us after Christmas. So, but yeah, I applied for jobs for about a month after finishing the course, and I think I got confirmed at SwiftFox the start of January. So I guess about a month and a half before I really knew that I had a job. There was a lot of challenging parts, and I don't mean to say that to scare anyone. I mean to say, like, it is challenging. Like you're learning stuff at a really fast pace, and there's a lot of new stuff, and there's a lot of points where you just feel you feel a little bit overwhelmed. Like, I don't fully understand this thing yet, and I'm moving on to this next thing. But I would just say expect that, because eventually things come together and things make sense. You will feel in over your head at some points, but that's natural. If you're outside of your comfort zone, that's a good thing. And yeah, it was hard at times just to feel like I don't really know what this is, but I need to move on to this next thing. But eventually you get there. It all kind of comes together. So yeah.
That's such great advice. And yeah, it's good to note that challenging, like when things are challenging, that's where all the learning happens, isn't it?
100%. Yeah. And it still happens. I've been working this job for 6 months now, and it still happens even just looking at a code base, and there's like thousands of lines of code. And it's like, I don't understand what any of this does. And, you start working with it, and eventually it all clicks. It all makes sense. So it's not just about the boot camp. I assume it'll be like this for the rest of my career. So you just got to kind of get comfortable with it. I mean, I can't predict the future, but I personally know I don't think so. I think it's definitely shown that it can enhance our jobs, and probably maybe it'll have an impact on the number of programs that you'll see at organizations. But I kind of get the feeling that it'll probably just make us more productive, which means we'll just end up writing more code.
Yeah. So to be used as a tool alongside the dev, rather than replacing the dev.
So exactly. Yeah.
Do you concur with that, Cam, or have you got a different view?
Yeah, no, my response would be identical. It just makes you a lot more productive. It lowers the barrier to entry. Like, if I'm coding, I will have ChatGPT on one screen, and I will have Copilot in my IDE. So Copilot being the thing that predicts, it's almost like, if you're learning to code, don't have that stuff there. And sometimes I will consciously say, this is not helpful right now, and I got to turn off this and go back to thinking through the problem. But in many instances, what we're doing, we're solving. We are working through solved problems. We have an interface, communicate with the database, show it. Those are solved problems. So why not use a tool that helps you do that much quicker?
Yeah, right.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really good to know too, because it is something I think that's becoming more and more of a concern as we see it kind of more and more in the news, essentially. Yeah.
Sorry, I would add as well, though, that AI cannot do the high level complex thinking of this part connects to this part. It cannot do that. That's creativity, and that's being an engineer.